Welcome back to the deep dive. We're here to break down complex guides, pull out the practical knowledge, and basically give you a head start on being well informed.
And today we're tackling a book that really shook things up for a lot of people thinking about money.
Yeah, we're diving into Ramit Sethi's I Will Teach You to Be Rich. Quite the title.
It really is. And you have to remember when it came out, 2009.
Ah, right after the 2008 crash.
Exactly. The timing was, well, perfect in a way. People were reeling, feeling uncertain, and they needed something practical, like a step-by-step guide to get back some control financially, not just theory.
That makes so much sense. It wasn't just personal finance, it was almost like financial first aid then.
Pretty much. And Sethi's background is interesting here. It's not just finance.
Okay, yeah, tell us about that. He studied psychology and technology at Stanford, didn't he?
He did. And that perspective, it really shapes the whole book. It's grounded in behavioral finance.
So less about complex market analysis and more about human behavior.
Precisely. He gets that most of us know we should save more or spend less. The failure isn't usually knowledge, it's execution. It's about our own psychology, procrastination, feeling overwhelmed.
Getting in our own way.
Totally. So the book's mission isn't really about forcing you into some super strict, joyless budget. It's more about building confidence.
Shifting from anxiety about money to feeling empowered.
Exactly. Using systems that work with our natural tendencies, not against them. So today, we'll focus on those core strategies: automation, conscious spending, investing, simply all aimed at building what he calls your rich life, not someone else's definition.
Okay, let's get into it. The roadmap starts with something really foundational, probably his most famous idea: automation.
Yeah, automation is like the cornerstone. Sethi basically argues that good money management should feel almost boring.
Boring? How so?
Well, his main principle is setting up automatic systems, automatic transfers for savings, for investments, paying bills automatically. The goal is to minimize the effort, the decisions you have to make each month.
So it just happens, without you thinking about it.
That's the ideal. It ensures your financial goals get met consistently because you're not relying on remembering to do it or, frankly, on willpower.
He has that great chapter title, right? Something like, Save While Sleeping.
That's the one. Sums it up perfectly.
But hang on, if it's that straightforward, why isn't everyone doing it already? Does he address that feeling of, like, losing control by letting machines handle your money?
That's a great point. And what's interesting is he flips that idea. He argues that not automating is where you lose control. You're leaving it up to emotion or forgetting or just laziness.
Ah, okay. So automation is actually taking control proactively.
Exactly. It's like setting up a defense in advance. You make sure the important stuff, savings, investing, happens first. Then you just manage what's left for spending. It's about making success kind of inevitable.
Okay, that makes sense. Strategic inevitability, I like that. So, once the saving and investing is automated, what about the money that's left? The day-to-day spending. He's not a fan of traditional budgeting, is he?
No, definitely not. He really pushes back against strict line-by-line budgeting, the kind that makes people feel guilty or deprived.
So what's the alternative?
He calls it conscious spending. The idea is, first, you figure out what you truly love spending money on, things that genuinely add value to your life.
Like travel, or maybe fancy dinners, or a specific hobby.
Could be anything. And his advice is, spend extravagantly on those things. Really enjoy it. Guilt-free.
Extravagantly. Okay, I wasn't expecting that.
But here's the flip side. You then identify the things you spend money on that you don't really care about that much.
Yeah.
Subscriptions you don't use, lunches you don't enjoy. And you cut costs on those things mercilessly, absolutely ruthlessly.
Ah, okay. So it's about making deliberate choices based on your values, not just cutting everything.
Exactly. Freedom comes from making informed choices that align with what makes your life rich, not from just general penny pinching.
That feels psychologically smarter, like giving yourself permission to enjoy money in specific ways as long as you're disciplined elsewhere.
That's the core of it. So automate the saving, be conscious with the spending, and then comes the investing part.
Right. And he stresses starting early, doesn't he? Even if it's not much money.
Absolutely critical. He talks a lot about the power of compound interest. Starting early, even small amounts, makes a huge difference over time. It's kind of mathematical magic.
But investing can feel so complicated. Where does he suggest beginners start?
This is where he really simplifies things. For most people, he strongly recommends investing in diversified, low-cost index funds.
Okay, let's pause there. For someone listening who's maybe new to this, what exactly is a low-cost index fund? Break that down.
Good call. So think of an index fund not as one company's stock, but like a big basket holding tiny pieces of hundreds or even thousands of different companies.
Okay.
It's designed to basically mirror a large section of the market, like the S&P 500, which tracks 500 of the biggest U.S. companies.
So it's automatically diversified.
Exactly. You're not betting on one horse. And because it just tracks the market, it doesn't need a lot of expensive managers picking stocks. That's why they're low cost.
Got it. Less fees eating into your returns.
Precisely. Sethi loves this because it's effective, it's simple, and it stops you from thinking you can outsmart the market or pick the next big winner, which most people can't do consistently anyway.
Yeah.
This is the core of Chapter 8, his wealth-building engine.
Right, avoiding the temptation to time the market, which connects to another point he makes quite strongly, doesn't it? Challenging the whole latte factor idea.
Oh yeah, he definitely takes aim at that. The idea that skipping your daily $5 coffee is the path to riches.
We've all heard that advice.
Right. And Sethi says, look, it's not bad to save small amounts, but focusing obsessively on that stuff is missing the point.
What's the bigger point then?
He calls it focusing on the big wins.
Big wins, like what?
Things that have a massive impact on your finances. Negotiating a $5,000 raise at work, for example, that one action brings in way more money year after year than saving $5 a day on coffee ever could.
Okay, so the effort to impact ratio is way better.
Exactly. Or automating your savings to capture your company's 401k match. Or negotiating a lower interest rate on your mortgage. These are the levers that really move the needle.
So the behavioral insight is we get distracted by small, easy-to-control things like the coffee, and we avoid the bigger, maybe harder, but much more impactful actions.
That's pretty much it. We spend mental energy on low-impact decisions instead of gearing up for the high-impact ones. Focus your energy where it counts.
And negotiation is clearly one of those high-impact skills he emphasizes. He even has that memorable phrase for it.
Right, the negotiate like an Indian concept. Now, the phrasing is specific to his background, but the core idea is universal.
What's the universal takeaway there?
It's about adopting a mindset where negotiation isn't this scary, rare event. It's a normal, expected part of almost every financial interaction.
Like what? Credit card fees, your cable bill.
Yes, exactly. And definitely your salary. It's about being prepared, being assertive, and consistently asking for better terms or prices. Viewing it as a skill you practice and improve.
And the cumulative effect of doing that over years could be huge.
Massive. That's a big win achieved through skill, not just cutting back.
Okay, so we've got automation, conscious spending, simple investing, focusing on big wins and negotiation. Let's zoom out a bit. What are the deeper messages or themes running through the book? It feels like more than just a set of tactics.
Definitely. I think the absolute central theme is financial empowerment. Meaning taking real proactive control. It's not just about saving defensively or cutting back out of fear. It's about strategic management of your finances to build the life you want. And importantly, doing it without feeling like you have to live like a monk for decades.
Right. He challenges that idea of delayed gratification taken to the extreme.
Absolutely. He wants you to enjoy the journey too. And you see this reflected in the book's structure. It starts with the basics, like credit cards and bank accounts.
You're getting the foundation right.
Yeah. And then it builds up, layer by layer, to investing, asset allocation, even prenups and wills later on. It mirrors how someone might actually grow their financial knowledge and confidence over time.
It's a journey. So how does this approach stack up against other personal finance advice? Some guides are really strict, like total debt elimination above all else, or zero-based budgeting where every single dollar is assigned.
Right. Sethi's approach is noticeably more flexible. It explicitly tries to balance saving for the future with enjoying the present. That conscious spending idea is key there.
Spend on what you love, cut what you don't.
Exactly. And that flexibility, that permission to enjoy life while building wealth, seems to really resonate, especially with younger audiences maybe, who don't want to put their entire life on pause for 40 years.
Okay, that makes sense. It's less about rigid rules and more about a personalized, sustainable system. But people need concrete steps. Let's talk about the real-world strategies. How do you actually implement this stuff?
Okay, number one is getting that automated system set up, practically speaking.
What does that look like?
It means literally going into your bank accounts and setting up recurring transfers. Money flows automatically from your checking account where your paycheck lands.
To where?
To your savings account first. Then maybe another transfer from checking to your retirement account, like a Roth IRA or 401k, and another one to your investment account, for those index funds we talked about.
So you decide the amounts once, set it up, and then it just runs.
That's the goal. It reduces the cognitive load, the mental effort. You pay yourself first automatically. You build wealth without having to constantly think about it or make decisions every month.
Okay, automation first. Then what? How do you apply conscious spending day to day?
This often starts with a short period of tracking. Not forever, maybe just a few weeks.
Just to see where the money is actually going.
Exactly. No judgment, just awareness. You use an app or a spreadsheet, whatever works. You identify where you're spending, and then you ask, does this spending align with my values? Does it make my life richer?
And if the answer is no,
Then you find ways to cut it. Ruthlessly, remember. Maybe cancel that subscription. Pack lunch instead of buying it if you don't enjoy the bought lunch. Switch phone plans. You find the leaks.
and redirect that money.
Redirect it towards the things you do value, the things that are part of your rich life. Or use it to boost your automated savings and investments.
Which leads perfectly into the next key exercise he pushes, crafting a rich life vision. This sounds a bit philosophical.
It is, but it's crucial. He forces you to actually sit down and define what rich means to you.
Yeah.
Forget the mansions and Lamborghinis, unless that's genuinely your thing.
So what could it mean?
It could mean traveling for 2 months every year.
Yeah.
It could mean working only part-time by age 45. It could mean living debt-free in a modest house. It could mean having the freedom to quit a job you hate. It's deeply personal.
And why is defining this so important?
Because that vision becomes your North Star. Every financial decision, how much to save, what to spend on, how to invest, should ideally support that specific vision. It provides the why behind the automation and the conscious spending.
Okay, that makes the connection clear. And you mentioned negotiation earlier. Does he offer practical help with that? It can be intimidating.
He does. He actually includes sample scripts and scenarios in the book.
Really? Like word for word, what to say?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
For things like calling your credit card company to ask for a lower interest rate, or negotiating a bank fee, or even preparing for a salary discussion, the idea is to practice, build confidence, and turn it from something scary into a repeatable process.
Having a script can definitely lower the anxiety barrier.
Okay, as we start to wrap up this deep dive, let's crystallize the main takeaways. What are the absolute must-remember insights from I Will Teach You to Be Rich?
I think number one is the power of systems over willpower. Automate your savings and investments. Make it easy to succeed.
Right. Set it and forget it, essentially. Number 2 is conscious spending. Define your rich life. Spend lavishly on what matters to you and cut costs mercilessly on what doesn't. Ditch the guilt.
So aligning money with personal values.
Exactly. And third, focus on the big wins. Don't sweat the small stuff excessively. Put your energy into things like earning more, investing consistently in simple, low-cost funds, and negotiating major expenses.
It really feels like the biggest impact is that mindset shift, though, moving away from scarcity or deprivation.
Absolutely. It challenges that old idea that getting rich means being frugal in every area of life. Sethi gives you permission, almost demands, that you spend extravagantly on the things you truly value. That can create a much healthier, more positive relationship with money. Less restriction, more intention.
But that balance, enjoying today versus saving enough for tomorrow, that's still a personal judgment call, isn't it? That flexibility creates a bit of ambiguity.
It does. And that leads to maybe a provocative thought for listeners. How do you strike that balance? Sethi provides the framework, but you have to define your rich life and decide how much is enough for today versus tomorrow.
Yeah, and related to that, how much do you trust the automation? Is it truly set it and forget it for you? Or do you feel that need to constantly check in to keep that hands-on feeling of control?
It forces a really interesting self-reflection, doesn't it? It's not just about money. It's about your own psychology, your definition of security, and your vision for your life.
Definitely something to think about. So let's leave our listeners with a concrete challenge inspired by the book.
Okay.
This week, take a few minutes to define just one specific element of your personal rich life vision. What's one thing you truly want your money to enable?
Okay. One specific thing.
And once you have that, go into your bank account right away and set up one small automatic savings transfer specifically targeted towards making that vision a reality, even if it's just $10 a week.
Start saving while sleeping for something that actually matters to you.
Exactly. Take that first step towards automating your rich life. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.